Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't step. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guap, all them bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, shawty trappin', she bad. Bad bitch, no bag. I just hit another liquor, she be counting all her racks. I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 step. About to make another hit, God, bitch, in my life.
Okay, before we even get to their abilities, I'm going to go over their physical stats. Now, if there's one thing I've noticed, especially in the Versus edit, is that people always give Gilgamesh strength and speed above Saber, even though this is not even close to being the truth. Like, did we watch the same series? They will conveniently ignore the fact that Saber has a higher strength stats than Gil, and that she can even further enhance her stats by using her mana burst skill. Like, Saber canonically blocked a punch from Berserker and then broke his neck, killing one of his lives with her bare hands. You could make arguments that Gil managed to fight off Enkidu, and Enkidu has similar stats to Berserker. But there's a key difference between these two feats. You see, Gil used a sword while Saber used her bare hands. I don't think I need to use rocket science to explain why Saber's own is more of a better showing of physical strength than Gil's. And Saber's speed is even worse, because in Holo Ataraxia, Saber literally was able to jump a distance of 4 kilometers in a single second with her mana burst. And through my calculations, that would mean she jumped 11 times faster than sound. That's enough to get you to the high cloud levels in a single second. That is literally as fast, if not faster, than the jets that chase down Vimana in Fate Zero. And Saber can reach these speeds with her bare legs. Saber is drastically faster than Gil. Now let's talk about close quarters combat. Someone was arguing with me that Gil would beat Saber because his legend is older in close quarters combat. Yeah, that's not how that works. Saber has far more experience in battle than Gil. I'm not saying Gil would lose completely to her, as he has clearly shown multiple times to be able to put up a fight with Saber, and they have comparable feats to each other. But Saber has beaten Gil in close quarters combat not once, but literally 2 times. Like, look again, she first disarmed him, then broke the sword. They literally note in Unlimited Blade Works that Gil stepped back when Saber arrived, because now that she was at full strength, he could not risk going against her in close quarters combat. And people will just conveniently ignore this part. Now we can get into their skills and noble phantasms. People like to argue that Saber would be overwhelmed by Gil's Gate of Babylon, but ignore even in her weakened state, she was able to put up a good enough fight against Gate of Babylon that Gil had to stab swords into the ground to block off her movement so she could be pierced by them. And even when she was pierced, she still never got a fatal wound from any of this. Now let's use a full power Saber. First of all, Saber's mana bursts are incredibly destructive. Nasu was once asked that does the damage of Excalibur increase when it's removed from invisible air, and he answered it varies considerably. If the destructive power of invisible air is 80 to 90, which is in line with his earlier statements of saying that an A rank or an A plus rank physical strike from a servant is the equivalent to a C rank anti-unit MP, like invisible air. So once again, he said if invisible air had a power of 80 to 90, Excalibur unsheathed from invisible air has a destructive power of 1000. That is literally damage on the level of noble phantasms. And as we saw in Heaven's Field, by Saber using her mana burst to inject mana into her sword, because Excalibur has the innate property of amplifying any magical energy put into it. This is how she killed Berserker in Unlimited Blade Works episode 4, and how she was blasting around in Heaven's Field. If Saber puts most of her power into this, she would fire the blast you see in Heaven's Field, which was confirmed in an interview for Heaven's Field by Nasu and Takeuchi that it was similar on the destructive scale of noble phantasms. And we can compare it to the damage caused by anti-army noble phantasms like Caladborg and Gilgamesh. And we see Saber's mana burst blast are comparable in power to these attacks. And we know from Fate's Strange Fake, when Gilgamesh fought Richard the Lionheart, he only used his Gates of Babylon in that fight. And in that fight, we see that through spamming his noble phantasm, which is A+ anti-army, Richard was able to completely nullify Gate of Babylon. Like, Gate of Babylon alone wasn't enough to take this guy down. We can even see it from when Gil used Gate of Babylon at full power in Strange Fake, that the destructive blast was similar to what I've already stated and shown. So what is stopping Saber from replicating the same feat when she can fire off her mana burst attacks that reach noble phantasm level power? But y'all won't think of this. Now let's move on to another one of his main MPs, the Chains of Enkidu. For y'all that think this will be effective against Saber, sorry, but the Chains of Enkidu only really work against divine beings. Against regular or non-divine servants, they are just pretty strong chains, which Saber has shown she can break out of easily. Then let's move on to Gil's shields and his auto defender MP. While these shields and his auto defenders are quite impressive, able to stop lightning and a throw from an A-rank servant's strength, Saber's invisible air is no slouch either. As it was clearly stated that it was getting through Gil's armor, it caused this damage in Heaven's Field when it was charged up, and when Saber released it in full power in the OG Stay Night, it showed this much damage. And she can generate it around her body to form a protective barrier around herself, similar to Gil's auto defenders and shields. Now, without out of the way, let's get to the true highlights of their battle. The battle between the greatest of NPs. Now, a lot of people use the OG Stay Night as an example of what would happen if Aya and Excalibur attacked each other, and ignore the several contexts behind this scene. First of all, Saber was weakened by having Shiro as a master. Like, look at her stats when Rin was her master, which is confirmed to be her full power, versus when Shiro was her master. And Excalibur is literally stated by Saber to rely on her mana supply. So by having Shiro as a master, this automatically meant Excalibur was weaker. Then we have Saber's mana burst blast that I've been talking about and proven can reach anti-army noble phantasm levels of destructive power. But did you all know you can actually add skills like mana burst to your noble phantasm? The best example of this would be Karna. His noble phantasm Brahmastra is actually the eye laser you are seeing here. But by using his skill Mana Burst Flame on top of Brahmastra, he created the noble phantasm Brahmastra Kundala, which increased in size from anti-army to anti-country. And funny thing is, Proto Saber has done the same thing. It's noted in the novels that he added his mana burst to invisible air to increase its power. The reason she didn't in the original Stay Night is mana burst is a very intensive skill. So then imagine trying that, stacking firepower of an MP on top of your actual MP. And we know this would make it cancel out Aya, because as per Nasu's own admission, when he was asked in that same interview for Heaven's Field 2 who would win against Gilgamesh and Saber Artoria, he literally notes that when both were alive, they had equal levels of firepower. as in when Saber was alive and could use her mana burst freely, she was able to generate the same firepower as Gil with Aya, with only Gate of Babylon giving him a slight edge because of how versatile it is if used properly. But he also notes that luck plays a key factor in this, and Saber Artoria's luck is drastically lower than regular sabers. Not to mention her agility and her instincts, which are said to borderline precognition. So for those of you that like to bring Shanag back Imuru or Gilgamesh's clairvoyance into the fight, Saber also can predict the future. This is how she literally got a vision of her death when she was fighting Sasaki Kojiro. But if you all want more proof, I can even bring it. Let's talk about the fact that there's not one, not two, but 3 different materials for Aya that states its firepower at Enuma Elish is its maximum output, and that maximum output rivals or is greater than or equal to Excalibur's output. And even in the first material we're given of Aya's description in the game, it literally states that it has a max damage of 4,000, which is around the level of Excalibur, but he enhances it further using Gate of Babylon. So if Saber can enhance hers with mana burst, it only makes sense they cancel each other out, which coincides with Nasu saying they had equal levels of firepower when they were alive, aka when she was at full power and could do so freely. And I know people are going to bring up the part of Gil will win if his master's charm as a human is high, but people ignore the context of this. The reason Nasu knows this is because of Gil's independent action skill. Thanks to the Grill mod, it increased from A to A+, and it is stated that rank, one can expend large amounts of magical energy, aka using their noble phantasm like Aya multiple times, and still never once require mana from their master. At such a high rank, it literally negates his need for a master entirely. This is why Nasu knows that it means that Gil likes to fight on his own power and doesn't like to draw power from his master. This is why his master's charm as a human needs to be high, like Hakuno from CCC. And I'm aware it is kind of a flex that just gaining a master is enough to make Gil stronger than Saber. But don't forget that he only has the independent action skill as a servant. It is not something he had when he was alive. And people will try and use the argument of in one CE for Faith Granddaughter, they called Aya the strongest noble phantasm in humanity. But they ignore that in another CE for Excalibur, they literally call it the greatest sword. So I'm not taking that as an argument. So to clarify, I'm not saying Saber will absolutely destroy Gilgamesh in a fight, but I am saying even the creator and several of the materials have stated she can rival Gilgamesh in power, and that a battle between them could honestly go either way. And if y'all are still denying this because of your bias to Gilgamesh in 2024, then you should just go rewatch or reread the series, because it's clear you weren't paying attention. Anyway guys, that's all I got this time. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.